Evening again, changing up a few things. Got myself a new toy. No, not this. I got this a little earlier this week. I got a new camera. Nikon D5300. And I'm happy. But let's get this coffee on the road. I've been watching YouTube videos, but you're with me with my first batch. I am doing half a batch of coffee because I really don't want 4 cups of coffee tonight. So do that. Add this in. 60 seconds. Let's do it right. Now I'm only putting a quarter in. Let that sit for a minute. Alright, so really the camera has been picked up so that I could go on vacation. I've got a couple vacations planned, a couple adventures this summer, and I wanted a camera to snap it and take pictures. More than just what I had on my phone. My phone it's convenient, it's always with me, but it doesn't get the pictures that I really want to take. I've had a couple cameras in the past, and I'm not a photographer. I'm not very good, but I enjoy taking shots, and I enjoy the results of a nice camera. So I wanted one, and in actual fact, well, 1 second here. We're almost done, according to the YouTube videos. Stir that up a little bit and add a little more water. So they tell me. All right. In actual fact, this is a replacement for a previous Nikon camera that I had. I've had both Canon and Nikon in the past. The previous Nikon ended its life on the side of a mountain in Alberta as we scurried down the side of the mountain, running away from a hailstorm in the middle of summer. So that was a different adventure. But now I needed a new camera. It's been a couple years. This is really the first toy that I've purchased since my divorce, so I'm kind of really excited about it. But it wasn't an easy choice. Number one, there's of course additional debts that I still have. I still need to pay off. It's not like I have free money. I've got bills that I have to take care of. I have the actual trips, the actual adventures that I want to go on. Kids want to do things like, go to a theme parks and all kinds of crazy stuff, which I constantly have to say, hey, no, we don't really have the money. Not in the budget. Not in the budget. But I wanted to get the camera, and I put it on my budget and made sure it was there. But in doing so, I put together a very tight constraint. I said I want to spend $500 on the camera, give or take maybe $50. The camera turned out to be exactly $500, so that was really nice. But it was as I say, I had options. I had probably 2 really good options when I first went to look for the camera. I had the latest Nikon version, the latest Canon version, and side by side, they were about equal. They were decent specs. For some reason, I couldn't make a decision. Canon is, it was one of my first cameras that I had. It has a really nice interface. I really enjoyed using it. It had an emotional tie to me. Whereas the Nikon I had, it took fantastic pictures. I just didn't have that emotional bond with that particular camera when I had it. So it was really you're tossing up those two, and it came. The Nikon just had better specs. The Canon was the emotional tie. So I went to France. I posted out there. I had long conversations with a few of them. over what one would be better, and they like were looking over the specs with me, and I was trying to find where, what ones I should be most concerned about. Um, but they were the Nikon always seemed to win out on the things that were important, though neither of them really stood out on their own. But one person did respond to me, was with a totally different option. So it was out of my, like, I was like, I want this model or this model, and they came up with a third model, and it ended up forcing me down a whole other rabbit trail, and came around to this one. This is an older model. This is actually several years old, and it was obviously still available. It's a bump up in the quality of the camera, or the level of camera, if you put them in levelings, but it was it was older, which I was wanting a new camera. So you have to make these choices. Okay. All right, let's try this. And it all comes down to choices that you make in everything that you do. And so I looked, I found the camera, I looked at all the specs. It didn't have the battery life that the new Nikon does, but it was, as I mentioned, it was a bump up in the level, so it had a few of the features that the other Canons or the other Nikons didn't have, and the Canons definitely didn't have. So I went with this one, and it's really easy to turn around and second guess yourself. And every time I got to the point where I was second guessing myself, I chose to go a different direction. I would chose to replace that self-doubt with excitement. Because whenever you have two choices, you could do two different paths you can choose. You can always go down the path and go, it would have been better if I went the other way. You try and avoid that. I try and avoid that whenever possible. And so I've been replacing it with excitement. I bought a whole bunch of extra toys. Got a rain guard for it, hopefully protecting against the hail, if that ever happens again. And buy some extra batteries, and it just the extras that sort of make it your camera. So I'm pretty excited about it, but it really stuck out as it's really a silly choice, and to refer to, because it is just a toy. It's frivolous. It's not necessary. But I also toiled over it, as if it was like me looking for like a new place to live or a new job to get or something. I spent a lot of time researching it. I had a lot of deep conversations with people on it, and I really I stressed over it, which was probably the silliest thing to do. But once the decision was made, I chose to accept it, and move forward with it and be excited about it. And that excitement has kept me going. We took it out today, took a bunch of pictures today. The boys were taking some pictures today, so I was excited to see that. It's easy to get happy. But making those type of choices are something that I'm trying to instill in the boys as they move forward. I'm trying to get them to, see that the choices that they make really dictate everything. And it's not necessarily, do I choose the red pen or the blue pen? It's choosing your emotional state. It's the choosing of your mindset as you go into something, choosing to like something or not like something, choosing to be happy or choosing to be sad. And there are times where being happy is a good thing. There are times when being sad is healing. There are times to be goofy and funny. There are times to be serious and straightforward. And it's about making the choices that you need to make in those time periods that set things apart. And that's what I'm trying to get the boys to do, is to choose it. And when they come across a struggle and they end up in a situation where they're depressed or they're angry, I try and get them to choose or recognize that it's their choice that that's keeping them there. They could be mad, but they're choosing to be mad. They're choosing to be angry and live there. So it's hard. They definitely don't understand it. I don't always understand it, nor can I always control it. But it's something that I've come to grips with a lot over the last couple of years, and I found it really powerful in just understanding that really it's the choices that you make, but not so much choices in physical things, but choices in your emotional state. And that's really, the what I was looking at to share. So let's try some of this coffee. Oh, I don't know how these things work. All right. Well, that was not as much as I thought it was going to make, but it looks like it's a good cup of coffee. All right. Well, I am going to completely enjoy this new toy, both new toys this week. Anyway, you have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Don't forget to look us up on the web at stilldaddy.net or on Facebook and Twitter at stilldaddy4you. Now, what else do I have here?